you and Tim Cook were supposed to be friends.
Or not? You're talking about the hashtag?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. I saw that when you all did. Got to look into it.
Is that right? The importance of signing Justin Zanik?
I think he's been someone who's, you guys have all talked to him, he's refreshing to work with. I think he's got a unique skill set in the league. He spent a lot of time in the league building relationships. And I think that within our group, you want as many perspectives as you can get around the table without making it hard. And now with Fizz, it's been pretty seamless. Like, I think it's been refreshing. It's fun. It's fun to come into work, and Jay-Z's a big part of that. He keeps a lot of the trains running on time, and I think I couldn't be more grateful for him helping to onboard and having that continuity going forward. And I feel like we have ultimate trust, I think, in the process of getting Will on board, who we're incredibly excited about. DA set up the groups, and Jay-Z was a big part of it as well. So it's exciting.
Danny, can you talk about your working relationship with Justin?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, Ryan said most of it. He's been great. It's been fun working with him. He's got a lot of connections around the league. He's well respected in the NBA and internally as well.
Ryan, I'm sure you saw the Clippers TV negotiations are going with you guys, and especially with regards to streaming.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I think this is the first year we've really gone into open negotiation out there or look, and I think the conversations are going fast and furious. I think it's an interesting time in all of sports. I mean, this is like we're in a pretty unique time when it comes to the traditional way of watching games in sports. Even with, I would say, Amazon's Thursday night, there's a lot written, there's a lot out there. Ballmer's been trying to do this, I think, since I got in the league. And what you have in the NBA specifically is you probably have about 16 Sinclair RSNs, and then you've got Bally's and then a hodgepodge of others. And I think that everyone's kind of got a unique thing. I think streaming's super important. I think it's the future, and we all know that. But the most disruptive thing we can do is basically stop cable right now. And so you've got built-in channel conflict. And so the Clippers launched a $199 annual pass, which is, I think, $17 a month. But there's also, non-national televised games. And so what I can tell you is that we're making a lot of progress. We will have more streaming options next year. I think long-term where this goes, we're just looking at it from a fan experience standpoint and saying, hey, look, there's a huge contingency of our fan base, not as many as want cable, but want a better experience. And I think we should get a better experience. It's something Danny reminds me of every game, like every road game or whatever it is. Like, let's find a better experience there. So we're on it. We're all hands on deck on it. But it's not as simple as I think maybe I would like it to be honest with you.
This must be big. We got our legends here. Got the Booner and T. Bailey here. And the legendary Mike Smith also.
Hey, Danny, can you speak a little bit about, you've been at this for a long time, about your approach, direct emotional attachment, all the emotions are around you. Is your approach the same as you're building a team?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, obviously, this is a new, and you've built teams in
Right.
places to build a team. But I guess my question is more about your approach when you come in on making those decisions and convincing, the folks in the room that this is the time. You're new to the organization as well.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is really about your business approach as you approach.
So I think that, my approach since being here in Utah has been to get the information from everybody that's here. It's not for me to come from the outside necessarily and give my 2 cents worth of what's gone on with the Jazz and what's going on and what should we do in the future. But it's been great to get to know everybody in the organization before that are no longer here and just get their take on everything, and then collectively sit down and figure out what our best plan of action is. And so as much credit or blame as I would like to take for all of it, I think that's why Brian hired me, so I could take the blame for
Oh,
everything.
jeez.
But, really we're working very well collectively. And I've enjoyed that, getting to know everybody and coming up with a plan. But so far, the plans that we've done have not been me twisting anybody's arm. It's been we're in the same mindset, the same ideas, and so that's been I've enjoyed getting to know everybody and make some changes here.
Danny, speaking of those changes, the last time we got to talk to Donovan Mitchell, asked me did he ever officially ask for a trade?
I'm not gonna even comment on that, just because those are private conversations, and if he doesn't want to say it to you, I'll let you can keep asking him that question, but I won't divulge our private conversations.
Danny,
I was gonna go, but my father passed away, and we had a funeral in California at that time, so it took my trip away. But I will try to get out to see him in person soon. But very impressive on TV.
Danny, what are the realistic goals for the team this year?
I'll let the coach say those goals on our team, but my expectation is for us to compete at a very high level, night in and night out, and I'm really anxious to see the people, the players that that have a commitment that we can really want to invest in going forward.
Ryan, what's your pitch to the fan base this season?
I think it's an exciting time to be a Jazz fan. I really do. I've been through this for a long time, as well as all of you. And we've got a group of players who are hungry. I mean, there's an energy, there's an excitement, there's exciting players. We're young, but we also have a group of veterans, which is kind of unique. And I think we've got one of the most exciting young coaches in the league. And I'm curious to see, just like everyone else, on what comes out of that. And then, I think with Will focusing on Team 49, which is really like focus on the team now and the team here. But I'm also a fan. I'm looking at something that we've never had since I can remember, which is a haul of draft picks for the future as well. And I mean, let's just be honest. We're a team in a city that we got a good job at putting a good cohesive team around, who are open to debate, who are open to really dig in, but can make a decision. And individuals like Danny and Fizz with a very, very strong record of doing well in the draft. And we want to give them as many shots on goal per se as we can. And I think that's really exciting for our fan base, because that's how it's going to have to happen here.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, are you guys aware of just like how little margin for error it is for a small market to be able to build to build through the draft and build a championship contender, as opposed to a bigger market that can just kind of erase mistakes a little bit?
I think we're not exclusive on the draft as well. I mean, if I were to go through that, I think that we're in a financial situation as an organization where we want to hopefully reach up and grab anyone we can as well, and we're not going to limit that. And I think that's still a goal. So am I aware? I think I'm aware that whether you're a small or a big market, the margin for errors. There's a lot of people who have jumped off small teams to go around who.
That was probably the wrong terminology.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's not exclusive to that. But I think the question for me was, what would I tell our Jazz fans? And that's really it. I think there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope.
How will you guys evaluate success?
Players, individual players, and who are the ones that we want to continue to invest in, invest more, who's making progress. I think that's probably the first steps of evaluation.
How do you explain to fans about
playing so many guys who are over 30 when there's clearly a youth movement?
Best to play with players that know what they're doing.
Ryan, this is for you. I mean, obviously, Team 49 is the focus, but everyone knows there's a big thing happening in February, hosting the All-Star game. What's the excitement, from the organization standpoint of that?
Excitement from the what?
From the organizational standpoint.
Go Padres.
Don't jinx it, please.
Go Padres.
I'm nervous enough about
I
tonight.
think to our team, I just want to say thank you in advance because this is a heavy lift. I mean, I will tell you one thing, that Salt Lake and the group and the city, we're not mailing it in. Okay? Like, that would be an easy thing to do, but what we have planned is, and the team's been working tirelessly. We want the entire state of Utah plus everyone who's coming in to have an experience of Utah. We haven't had it in 30 years, and Utah's a very different place than it was. I mean, I remember growing up here where you'd come from Provo, where I lived, up here, and there was just gaps of land. It doesn't exist anymore. And with all this tech that's been built, what are all these things? And so just a chance to highlight and bring it all together. It's a massive event, and we're working through that. I know the NBA's, now that season's kicking off, they're coming in. It's really their event to help. We're meeting on what we're doing in the community for service this week, and all of the other causes that come with All-Star, but the economic impact, what it means for our city. It's a week after the Super Bowl. I know that the ski resorts are booked, the hotels are booked, people are coming out for ski week in Utah, and I think that's an exciting thing for us.
Danny, been a while since you've been a coach, but what's it going to mean for Will to get his first game under his belt, a first win? Maybe?
Well, I think Will's very excited for the upcoming opportunity that's before him. I think he's realistic about what the team is, and anxious for the major role that he'll play in the development of our young players. I don't know how much of a relief it'll be to get a win, I'm sure there will be times during the year where that could be the case, but I think that Will is just a tireless worker, and he's got a happy disposition, and he brings a real positivity to the whole unit. And
what are some league trends that you're following this year?
League trends? What do you mean by
Style
that?
of play, anything about just where the league's heading?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really noticed any yet in the exhibition season, but there's always some that you find out as the season goes on. I'm not sure I'm predicting any. It seems like I think the importance. There was a stretch where you got glorified if you only took 2% of your shots in the mid-range and took everything else at the rim or threes. I think that the three-pointer will continue to be emphasized, but I think that there's also going to be. I think that we're shifting back to a mid-range game that can be very valuable.
Danny, how do you sort of balance the things you've already said, measuring success through progress, wanting to see young players have success so that they could move up maybe in the rotation, giving Will autonomy to play a competitive group, and needing to see all those things? Like you want to see the progress of the young players, but maybe that they're at the end of a rotation. So how does that all balance?
It's called patience. We do want to have Will coach the team, and Will is a great communicator, and so I'm excited about working with Will and Justin. That'll be fun. I think that our team is going to be better as we go along, and he's going to figure things out as he goes along, and it's better that he learns about the players and learns about the team and learns what's best for the team going forward. But I don't know a coach that can't think short term, at least during the course of the games, and maybe like in between games they can think more long term. I'm excited to work with Will this year. I think it's going to be fun, and I think that the objectives that we have as an organization are pretty clear in our conversations as we prepare going forward. And but I really want to see him, grow as a coach, and I think that this is an amazing opportunity for him.
Ryan, have you kind of projected out how, if there's a significant decrease in wins this year, how that might impact the organization's bottom line?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, we want to win a championship. And I think that's what we're focused on. We're focused on the long term. And it probably would have been maybe easier to try to continue in the playoff run that we've had from a financial standpoint. But just like I think the first 2 years where we pushed everything all in, even before I was here. I think we were 5th in payroll last year. And to exit the way we did, that probably hurts the bottom line more than anything else. But we're focused on a goal. And I think that we have some of the most amazing fans in the world, and they're supportive. And I think we're super fortunate because of that in this market. That being said, there's also, we've got to try to put together a great experience for them to want to come out and forget about life for a while and come together through the Utah Jazz. And that's on all of us as an organization. And that's kind of how we're seeing this. But it's one goal first, which is try to get up and open up this next window for as long as we can have it. And that's hopeful to me.
Ryan, as a businessman, and you're looking at this, are there any parallels to what you've experienced in that arena and bringing it to this? Does it feel like a startup from the garage room, like a rebrand, or?
No, it doesn't feel like a startup. I think there are parallels. I mean, I think in business and often tune out some of the noise of the short term and then have it go. And I think that you go through these cycles. And I think the key in business is to try to be on the offense a little bit here and set yourself up for the future, and it comes quickly. And so I think that's – and then I think the other side of it that's been super applicable is just get the smartest people in the room and get them around you and try to build a team where you can work together and make decisions. And I think that's probably as big as an impact as anything else, because a lot of the decisions that do come across, they're not 90-10. They're 51-49 both ways, and maybe they're both not easy or great options, right? And that's typically what leadership I've seen has been about over my career in business. And so I think it's very, very similar. Ryan, you're starting with the purple out and the new court. How's the rebrand been going, and are fans starting to embrace it? So I think it's clear with our fan base over the last, 4 or 5 years, the popularity of the black, whether it was the city edition that we started with and then not even close. Okay. I mean, and we have very, very good data on that. I think we are, it's part of an evolution. I mean, there's stuff I really like about the new stuff and stuff I don't like. I'll just be honest. But that's an evolution. And this brand will always be an evolution. I love the iconic note as you look around. I mean, Jay-Z, if you're going to wear a hoodie like that, you better give it to all of us. I don't know where you got that, but I like it. The purple is part of who we are, and we're bringing it back. And that's going to be an evolution as well. You'll see it next year. You'll see it after that. It's also more complicated than probably people know, because you've got 2 other teams who are also going black and purple at some level. And if you start planning out over 5 years, you're going to run into each other. And so how you do that in working with the league and Nike, you'll see an evolution between 22, 23, 24. And that's how this is going to go. And so that's kind of a lot. I mean, we could sit here all day and talk through. More of our brand it's the jerseys, but it's also what we wear every day. And that's a lot where the league and the trend's going and how it shows up all the way around. And so.
Time for one more question?
Danny,
Yep.
I know you've been asked this question probably 1,000 times, but you have to be in like a rare group of guys who have been in this business at different levels. As a player, as a coach, as a GM. does one help the other, or is there one more rewarding? Are the highs different, the lows? I mean, how do you, in this position now, do you draw from those things and that you've gone through as a player and maybe as a coach to make you good way?
Well, the easiest is definitely broadcasting. But yeah, I think there's things to learn from all of them. I mean, I think I've learned a lot being an executive from my coaching experience and my playing experience. No doubt about it. There's carryover, but they're all unique and different in their own way as well. Not really. I mean, like I was putting in those kind of hours in Boston, and I don't want to do that, and I'm not. And thank goodness for Justin. And that's why we signed Justin. He does the 14-hour days.
So you say you might go back to broadcasting?
Yeah, sometimes I often think like, what was I thinking to leave broadcasting?
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Hey, thanks.